I spoke with a representative from LSAC and they told me they're still basing the appeal decision on our income from last year. I emphasized that our current household income has been impacted due to COVID, as I wrote in my letter, and also sent supporting documents, but I guess it still wasn't enough. He suggests that I send a new email with the results listing my expenses. Okay, and then email number 2. I tried to argue that COVID didn't affect people until this year. My husband's income is more than half of our household income, and he works for an airline where their workforce was significantly reduced. COVID is definitely an unforeseen issue, and I thought it was super dumb! Exclamation point. We have a mortgage, 2 vehicles, utilities, and such. Not sure what other expenses they want us to list. I don't know. I'm going to try calling and ask another representative. If they're basing it on the previous year, then I should have a better chance of an approval in 2021, considering what I have going on and holding off on my exam. Not sure if the juice is worth the squeeze at this point. And that is Monette. So do you have any more on that, Ben, or this is just came in through the help at thinking LSAT? Okay.
Yeah, I think she might email me directly, but yeah, I just was like, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I was surprised that they based it on last year's income. COVID wouldn't have any effect on that.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Anne, do you have anything to say about the LSAC fee waiver?
I wish I did. I don't have that's not something I usually assist people with. I'm not sure, but sometimes generally with LSAC, you have to pound them over the head to talk sense into them, and then they realize what they're doing makes no sense. So I guess I would just give a little cheer for perseverance to try one more time to make the argument, maybe get on the phone with an actual human being and see if someone will squeeze the juice for you a little bit. Yeah, but I guess I just want to say that sucks.
Yeah. No, I agree. LSAC is a monopoly, and they sometimes seem to be a little tone deaf. And then once they get it, though, they tend to run in that direction in some cases.
I don't know. Maybe would she get a fee waiver from the GRE? Go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the LSAC monopoly and what's going on, Ann, with the GRE now?
Oh, geez. I should ask you guys. I remember years ago we're talking and Ben's telling me law schools are going to start accepting GRE. I'm like, no, they're not, Ben. No.
I think you were right about that. Where is that today?
You were right.
I haven't heard it.
I don't know. You know what? I'm still not a fan of taking the GRE to go to law school because A, it's very hard to predict where you'll be competitive, even with the conversion of the scores. And second of all, I've seen the people who apply with GREs are not as competitive with scholarships. They're not getting scholarship offers in the same way with the percentile of GRE as
the GRE isn't going to affect your U.S. News.
Not going to help the law school's ranking, so it's not.
Also, doesn't it just send the message that you're like not
don't really want to go to law
serious?
School?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like you didn't put in the effort to just take a 4-hour test. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. To me, it sends a different message.
A few things with it. That's one of the things. The other is. Sometimes there's a good argument for it because it's just more available, especially overseas. It's more available. Now you can take the LSAT so often comparatively to how it was just 2-3 years ago that I don't really find that to be as compelling. But yeah, I would rather see people take the LSAT. The mistake I think people make is taking the GRE after they don't do well on the LSAT, thinking they'll do better on the GRE because they're math people. But the law schools are still going to rely on that LSAT score. It's not like you can hide the LSAT score. And if you take the GRE and mess it up, most schools will require you to send them the GRE score. So you're screwed. I mean, either way, you should not take a standardized test until you're ready to take it. Okay. Until you're ready to have a score you'd be happy for people to see, basically. But I'm not on board the GRE. I think I give it one paragraph in the book. Like, seriously, I think it's not ideal. It'll work in some situations. I had a client last year who got into Harvard with just a GRE score, but he was a really exceptional person who had a PhD, and I mean, just a super exceptional human being with like 4.0s at Stanford all through. No one was going to doubt his ability to compete at Harvard, but for most applicants, I think the GRE is problematic.
Well, it's still only 10% of schools that are even accepting the GRE for law school admissions?
I don't know percentage. I feel like there's a list of schools on LSAC that people can access that will take the GRE.
Yeah. We've said before on the show, it just seems like the type of thing where if you already have an elite GRE score for like your PhD
Yeah.
student that your client that you had. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the type of person that maybe you could just apply with a
Yeah.
GRE because you're such a badass that you're going to get in anyway. I mean, I guess the counter argument there is that that person also could have gone and killed the LSAT. I'm sure it wouldn't have
Correct.
been that big of a
Correct.
deal to sign up and
He would
take
have
it.
been fine, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that to me, the biggest incentive I would have for people to take LSAT over GRE would be scholarships. And I know you guys would agree with me that scholarships should be a guiding force, if not the only, but a guiding force. And so in decision making, and to me, that's the reason you still take the LSAT.